Ken, and this is Biahirita's Journey. Every place has a story. Some stories are told through words, others are shared through food, traditions, and the people who keep them alive. Today, we're in Talakag, Bukidnon, a place where a simple corn cake carries generations of tradition. Let's discover its story. Nestled in the mountains of Bukidnon, Talakag is known for its fertile land, cool climate, and abundant harvests. Life here moves with the rhythm of the seasons, and for many families, traditions remain an important part of everyday life. One of those traditions is the making of binaki, a humble corn cake with a story worth sharing. This is Satimay, a higaunon from Talakag. She welcomed us into her home and shared not only the recipe but also the story behind it. For many farming families, binaki is more than food. It is connected to the corn harvest, a tradition that reminds them to be grateful and hopeful for a good season. Years ago, some families also prepared a native chicken as part of this tradition, a way of giving thanks and praying for a bountiful harvest. On the day of our visit, we also prepared native chicken alongside the binaki, following the tradition shared with us by the community. As the meal came together, we experienced not just the process of cooking, but a tradition that continues to connect people, family, and culture. Everything begins in the cornfield. Young corn is carefully harvested, then peeled,
Corn husk.
Years ago, the corn was grated by hand using traditional tool called the kitkiran. The process is known as kitkin. Today, we use a manual corn mill to make the work a little easier. Though we also use kitkiran alongside so to finish our work faster. The tools may have changed, but the patience, the teamwork, and the tradition remain the same. The recipe itself is simple: fresh young corn, powdered milk, and white sugar. The mixture is wrapped carefully in fresh corn husks. One by one until every piece is ready. Sometimes the simplest recipes become the most meaningful. Next comes the fire. A large pot. Corn husks are placed at the bottom of the pot to protect the pinaki while it steams. But we use the corn cobs so that we can also eat corn after. Everything is arranged with care. Then we wait. For more than an hour, the fire quietly does its work. While waiting, Ate Mai shared another story. For many families, binaki was never just a snack. There were times when it became breakfast, lunch, or dinner. When rice was difficult to afford, leftover binaki was mixed with hot water, sometimes with sugar, sometimes with salt, sometimes with nothing at all. A simple meal that helped feed the family. It reminds us that food is more than something we eat. Sometimes it carries hope, sometimes it carries resilience. Soon the sweet aroma of steamed corn filled the air. We can smell the taste of binaki. The binaki was finally ready. After hours of work, everyone gathered to enjoy what had been prepared. Every bite carried the sweetness of fresh corn, but more importantly, it carried the story of the people who made it. Binaki is more than a corn cake. It tells the story of farmers who work with the land, families who help one another, and traditions that continue because someone chooses to keep them alive. Sometimes the most meaningful stories aren't found in books. They're found in a quiet mountains, around a fire, wrapped in a corn husk, and shared from one generation to the next. Today, I came to learn a recipe, but I left with a story. A reminder that traditions survive because people choose to keep them alive. I'm Kem, and this is Biyahe Rita's Journey. Until our next vlog, keep chasing yours.